have to tell you, when I was reading parts of the book, and your old boss Ben came through, and you were trying to find that balancing act. Should I go and talk to him? Should I not go and talk to him? And your wife was there edging you on, and you go to your friend to the Japanese restaurant, and you're just quite not getting it. When did the bell really go off, and you find that complete balance?
Yeah, well, so there was a period where I was misapplying the rules. There was a period when I was misapplying the sort of wisdom of meditation, where I did become a little passive. We had this very dynamic new boss, Ben Sherwood, who's now actually the head of all of ABC, and I kind of went limp in the face of that. I didn't know how to handle it, and I got a kick in the pants from my wife. It was like, what's the matter with you? Where's the old Dan? And I realized meditation isn't about passivity. It's just about making smart choices. And so I went and we had a frank conversation I was able to have a conversation with him that had less ego in it. And I wasn't just, howling at the moon and saying, why aren't you giving me everything I want? I was more like, what can I do to improve? Yeah. And that changed the whole dynamic. Because I think he was used to people coming in with a little bit more rage. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we ended up working together to figure out how I could get better at my job. And it was totally transformational for me. And I'm still very close with him and still extremely grateful to him for a lot of things. So, but I don't think there is such a thing as perfect balance. It's just you're constantly, the reason the book's called 10% Happier is I mean, it's a joke, but there isn't some sort of perfection out there waiting for you that I'm aware of. I think that you're just constantly figuring out how to draw the line between getting worked up and stressed about things and then realizing what you can't control. And I'm imperfect at that. My wife, always makes jokes about 90% still a moron. So it's definitely true. I retain the capacity to be an idiot in lots of ways, but that's not a problem. It's just about marginal improvement over time.
We have to both get to the podium soon, but we have a little bit more time. I want to talk about that because most people don't think 10% is a lot.
Yeah.
So why just 10% happier?
People don't think, first of all, I can't emphasize strongly enough that it's a joke. And in fact, when the book was about to come out, my publishers tried to negotiate with me to get it to a higher number. I was like, okay, you don't get this joke, but fine. So anyway, I kept it at 10%. And the reason is I'm trying to counter-program against the unbelievable overpromising in the $11 billion self-help industry, which is, I think, a howling sea of baloney. And I'm using gentler language because you're governed by the FCC. So, and basically they peddle this reckless hope that you can solve all of your problems through the power of positive thinking or whatever. That's just not going to happen. My argument is here is this practice that has been written off by so many skeptical people as either weird or nonsense or impossible to do because I can't clear my mind, which is, we can talk about, which is not the goal of meditation. Here is this thing that is simple, scientifically validated, and secular that can be used as a sort of mental exercise to improve your mental hygiene. And you should add it into it should be another arrow in your quiver. Just like working out and getting enough sleep and eating well and having good friends. All the other things that are no-brainers, I think meditation should just be in that bucket.
Dan, are you lucky or are you blessed or what are you? Because most people don't get that second chance. And you say that panic attack saved your life.
Yeah, it may have saved my life, absolutely. Am I lucky? Yeah, look, let's be honest. I was born on third base. I had two loving parents who are physicians and had every opportunity in the world. And I have to be very aware of and mindful of the fact that I have an enormous amount of privilege. I also have privilege as a white male in this society, and I have to be aware of that too. So I know how lucky I am, and I try to see and remember how privileged I am. And I'm not trying to hold myself up as some hero. All I'm trying to do is say that I found something that was really useful for me that could be useful for you too. And what I've learned through this process is that there's a way in which if you write a memoir, a book about yourself, and people like it, it can be like a huge party for the ego. But actually, this is people aren't really that interested in my story beyond the mild titillation of it. Really what they want to know is, what do you have for me, Harris? And what I'm saying is, I have something that I don't own, by the way. This isn't some patented thing that I'm trying to get you to buy. It's just a practice that's been around for several thousand years that has too often been written off, but is now coming into the scientific and medical mainstream. And I'm saying you should give this thing a shot.